First Minister Mark Drakeford has said, "Today, we take the first steps out of lockdown," but has warned, "We can't let our guard down," due to the very infectious strain of COVID-19 which took hold particularly in northeast Wales. "We need everyone's help to carry on relaxing restrictions through the spring," Mr. Drakeford has said. The stay-at-home requirement in Wales has been lifted today, 83 days after the country went into a third lockdown as COVID-19 cases began to spike. The stay-home restriction has now been replaced with stay local guidance. First Minister Mark Drakeford announced a series of the changes on Friday as part of a cautious and phased approach to relaxing coronavirus restrictions. Stay-at-home restrictions will be lifted and replaced with new stay local guidance. It means people can leave their homes and travel within their local area, usually within 5 miles. The 5-mile rule of thumb will be set out. In guidance, people living in some parts of Wales, especially rural areas, may need to travel further than 5 miles to access shops and other public services. The Welsh Government has said. The new stay local guidance is expected to be in place until March 27 when it's hoped all restrictions on travel will be lifted within Wales. People can meet family and friends who live locally as long as it is outdoors, including private gardens. Outdoor sports courts, including basketball courts, tennis courts, golf courses and bowling greens, can reopen. A maximum of 4 people from 2 households can take part in activities using local sports facilities. Indoor care home visits can begin again with a single designated visitor. Given the Deeside's proximity to the border with England, we asked the First Minister on Friday how will the new guidance on travel impact those living close to the border with England, and for clarity did the rule of thumb, stay local, cover mileage into England, or is cross-border travel off limits? Mr. Drakeford said, "Our stay local message would not stop somebody from traveling into England, but the minute they got into England, the rules there are still stay at home. The problem is not with the Welsh rules in that sense, they would allow for somebody to go, but the minute you cross the border you'll be breaching the regulations there." So in effect the 5-mile guidance is for travel inside Wales, that this greater flexibility can be offered at this point. I'm sure that in England they hope to move away from stay at home reasonably soon as well. As of tomorrow, Saturday, in Wales people will be able to travel locally, in England they will not, therefore if you've crossed the border and tried to travel you'll be in breach of the English regulations. From Monday the 15th of March, all primary pupils and those in qualifications years will return to education settings. Schools will have the flexibility to bring in Year 10 and 12 pupils, to support them to progress to the next stage of their learning, and more learners will return to colleges. There will also be flexibility for in-school check-ins for all other pupils. All learners will return after the Easter break. Hairdressers and barbers can reopen by appointment only, as long as they take all reasonable measures to minimize the spread of the virus, Welsh Government guidance states. You will be expected to provide contact details in attending a hairdresser or barber, and you are advised to attend your appointment alone if possible. The guidance states, the First Minister said, "We are taking a phased approach to unlocking each sector, starting with schools. We will make step-by-step changes each week to gradually restore freedoms. We will monitor each change we make, so we know what impact each change has had on Wales's public health situation." Other planned changes. The first steps to reopen non-essential retail will begin. Restrictions on the sale of non-essential items will be lifted for those shops, which are currently open. Garden centers will also reopen. An additional £150 million will be available to support businesses to the end of March, which are not yet able to open. The extra funding will see businesses in the hospitality, tourism, leisure and non-essential retail sectors that pay non-domestic rates qualify for an additional payment of up to £5,000. During the third week of the review period, we will take stock of the latest evidence before confirming changes for the Easter holidays. The stay local restrictions will be lifted to allow people to travel within Wales. Self-contained holiday accommodation will reopen for one household. Organized children's activities outdoors will restart. This includes team sports. Libraries will reopen. The review on the 1st of April will consider whether all remaining shops and close contact services can reopen on the 12th of April. This is in line with planned reopening in England. First Minister Mark Drakeford added, "We need everyone's help as we start to unlock these restrictions. We all need to follow the rules, maintain social distancing, good hand hygiene and to wear face coverings in indoor public places. We all want to see Wales reopen and the return of a more normal life. This is within sight, but only if we can keep the virus under control. No one wants us to have to reintroduce strict restrictions, to retreat from the progress we have made. Only by working together, can we help keep Wales safe. Like, share and subscribe my channel.